You cannot compare yourself to people when you don't know the trials and tribulations they've experienced. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, High Guidance. And yes, that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only, emphasis on the always and only, take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, it's not for you. So let it fly. Don't try to force it. But most importantly, grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss why you shouldn't compare yourself to other people and how to deal with comparison, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and what to be aware of. Starting off with the title of the video and the disclaimers. The reason why you shouldn't compare yourself to other people is because you don't know what they went through to get to where they are or who they had to become. A lot of people assume things about camera got cut off, my timer went off, and my phone's about to die, so I'm gonna continue the video. But a lot of people assume things about people, not realizing that it's surface level. So when you see people on the outside and they have materials and they have status, they have wealth, you don't know what they did to get to where they are. Some people in this world had to steal, had to lie, had to manipulate, had to rob and kill to get their wealth, had to kill to get their status. And then there are some people who did the work and they got it out the mud. Regardless of which route these people take, you should never compare yourself to these people because you're not them. You could see people and be inspired and be influenced and want to experience the things that they've done, but not because of them necessarily, but because it's a possibility. People are here to remind you and to reassure you what you want to do in this life and what you don't want to do. The second reason why you shouldn't compare yourself to other people is because you don't have the same life as them. So if you grew up in dysfunction and confusion and corruption and you grew up in poverty, why would you compare yourself to somebody who's always had everything handed to them and who is privileged and who has two-parent household and has financial status? You don't have the same resources. You don't have the same education. You don't have the same environment. Yes, we all have the same 24 hours, but if everybody had access to certain things in life, people would be doing certain things. There wouldn't be a lot of people robbing, being corrupted, and killing and hurting and harming people. There wouldn't be people envious. You have people that are wealthy and never struggled, envious of people who've had to get things out the mud, and then you have people who are envious of people who have never struggled and who always had everything handed to them. It's so chaotic. It's so unnecessary. Once you realize that you went through certain things in your life and you're the only person who knows how you feel, you're not going to feel the need to compare yourself to other people. And that's the third thing. Why should you compare yourself to other people when they didn't go through the things you went through? If you grew up less fortunate, once again, why should you beat yourself up when you didn't ask to be born into poverty? If that's all you knew, if you know you come from a background where it's dysfunctional and people are not financially stable, why would you compare yourself to somebody who's always had everything? How does that help you? And most importantly, how is it affecting you? It doesn't make you feel good. Be inspired, be influenced, but don't compare yourself to other people because we don't know what it takes to be these people. And not everybody who has certain things is happy. There are a lot of wealthy, successful people. And I've met people who financially on paper, who had the cars, who had degrees, who did what they were told to do and still are not happy because it wasn't their decisions. They had to do certain things. If they didn't go to school, if they didn't work hard, they felt like they would be a failure. They felt like if they don't have money, if they don't have materials, they're not successful. I've also met people who had nothing and were envious of people who did work hard to get the things they want. So it's like, it's two sides to a coin. You don't have to compare yourself when you realize that even though you went through the certain things in your life, that it wasn't permanent and it's going to allow you to become better. So when it comes to recommendations for you to stop comparing yourself, you need to figure out what it is that you want. When you know what you want, you don't have to worry about who has what or who got what or when they get it because you don't have it. You could look at influencers and be envious of them all day. Until you start posting the content, until you do what you need to do, your life is not going to change. They have the things that you want. You could be envious of people who make a certain amount of money. Until you are willing to go to work and work with what you have, it's not going to change your status. It's not going to change your finances. The second thing you need to be mindful of, and what I recommend, is realizing what you've gone through. When you've gone through a significant amount of trauma that most people haven't experienced, they can't relate to you. They can comprehend, they could try to have sympathy, but it's like, it's not fair. And I'm speaking from experience. I went through certain traumatic situations in my life that the average person or the people around me have not gone through. So when people try to judge you, when people try to mock you, when people try to make fun of you, I've never took what they said seriously. Like, I've never been betrayed by anybody that I loved or anybody that I cared of or anybody I thought highly of. The people and the places and things who tried to sabotage me and betray me were people that I did not want to be like. Were envious, intimidated, were not meant to be a part of my life long term, but just to show me what was for me and what's not. I'm not listening to them. I've never allowed the people around me, because once again, they didn't go through what I went through. They had certain things that I didn't have, or vice versa. I had certain things they didn't have. You never have to compare yourself when you're surrounded by people who love you, when people pour into you. And that's the third recommendation. You have to know who you're surrounding yourself with. You have to be mindful of who you listen to. You have to be mindful of what you watch. Not everybody is happy. Not everybody is miserable. Not everybody is poor. Not everybody is wealthy. Comparing yourself to people is doing yourself a disservice. And not just that, you wouldn't have to compare yourself if you figured out what you want. And that's the first recommendation. What do you want? You can't get mad about not having certain things if you don't even know what you want, and if you're not willing to make the necessary changes. At a certain point, if you grew up with less, you have to decide, you know what, just because I grew up with less doesn't mean that I can't go out and get it. Everyone's not self-made. So if you grew up less fortunate and you got to get it brick by brick, you have to become self-made. You have to want it for yourself. It's not even the fact that you had to go through certain things and it took you longer. You didn't have it. If you want to become a millionaire and you grew up in poverty, you grew up on food stamps, you grew up in Section 8, you have to do things differently. You can't continue to surround yourself with people who are complacent with where they are. You can't compare yourself to the people that you grew up around, or the people you went to school with, or the people who have money. That's like, if you don't have a car, if you got to walk to work, if you take public transportation, if you got to take a bus, if you have to catch a train, you can't compare yourself to people who are driving a car. And once again, the people that mock you and make fun of you, they're not any better. They're not happy. Nobody who is happy and who has real wealth and abundance inside and out is going to make fun of people, is going to look down on people. All the people, like I said, who thought they were somebody were nobodies. Nobody makes fun of people for not having a car. Nobody makes fun of people for struggling and going through trauma. Like, you're evil. That's wicked and it's disgusting. Stop comparing yourself to people who are miserable. I'm not comparing myself to miserable. So many miserable people feel like, oh, I should have been done this, or if you didn't do that, or you didn't have this, you were never better than me. And you will never be better than me. You need to know that nobody could be ever better than you. The only people who are comparing themselves are people who are in competition. Why are you competing with the next person? You don't look like them. You could never look like them, and you can never do what they do. So it's like, when you know what you've gone through in life, do you really think you have time to be comparing yourself? You really think I have time to be comparing myself when I know I went through things that, like I said, every single person couldn't go through, because they try to make fun of you, they try to laugh at you. But I'm telling you from experience, when people do this and karma comes back around, because everybody reaps what they sow, that same energy comes back in return. And every single person who mocked and laughed, they didn't make it. Some people I know have vanished. Afterlife and in the life, but I'm gonna keep it cute. You never have to compare yourself when you know who you are and what you go through. You have to take your time. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing, because you're not them. And the sooner you can realize what's working for you and what's not, you'll work towards it. You'll take your time. You won't feel the need to rush yourself. You won't feel the need to feel like you're missing out on life. You won't feel the need to constantly look outside of yourself. If you're not surrounding yourself with people and places and things who inspire you, who uplift you, who are not competing with you, you don't need them around you anyways. All the people that I've outgrown, majority of them did not mean me any well. They were not growing. They weren't flourishing. They weren't, like I said, they weren't people I looked up to in the first place. If you have to feel inspired by people, be inspired by people who resonate with your spirit, who resonate with your character. I know so many people who had finances, cars, and materials, had ugly attitudes, had ugly spirits, felt entitled, thought that they were better than people, thought they could make fun of people because they didn't have cars and clothes. You know how superficial and shallow that is? Everybody has to wear clothes. People talking about something, oh, I only wear the high design. All brands have designers. You're not better than anybody. It's disgusting. You think you're better than somebody because you have more money than them? You know how many people have money? Like I said, everyone's not broke. There are people that are millionaires and billionaires. It's nothing new underneath the sun. Like, and it's like, if you are happy with what you had, which these people are not, they're not going to feel the need to compare themselves. Like, okay, you have money, so does the next person. You have a car, so does your neighbor. It's no need to compare yourself, and it's no need to surround yourself with people who make you feel bad for not like, those are not good people. That's the moral of the video. When you've been touched on inappropriately and other people haven't been touched on inappropriately, how can they make you feel a certain type of way? How can they tell you how you're supposed to feel? If you grew up in dysfunction and you don't come from a background where there was love and appreciation, how could these people make you feel bad because you had to learn how to love yourself and learn how to be confident? Like, stop comparing yourself. Moving forward, as you continue to heal yourself and you figure out who you are and you're doing what's working for you and you're releasing the things that are not, be mindful of that. But moving forward, it's no reason for you to compare yourself. If you have insecurities, you need to work on them. So that's what I'm challenging you with. What are your insecurities? Write them down in the comment section. Write them down on the notes. What are your insecurities? When did you start to feel insecure, and why does it make you feel insecure? What are your insecurities? How do your insecurities affect you, and when did you start to feel this way? Then I need you to reflect. Then I need you to grieve. Then I need you to give yourself the grace, Then I need you to start coming up with solutions. And if you want a solution and you're ready, let me know. Put your insecurities in the comment section so we can work on it. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing just because they say. Society is a group of people. Only surround yourself with people who uplift you and motivate you and educate you and make you feel good. Only surround yourself with people who are happy internally and externally. What good is it to have money and cars, materials, and status, and you're still miserable? You still have hate in your heart. You're still envious. You still have attachment issues. You still have codependency issues. You still have anger issues. You're still bitter about what happened to you at 2 and 5 and 10 and 20 or 30. It's no need to compare yourself to anybody when you genuinely learn how to love yourself. The second thing you need to do once you identify your insecurities and you reflect and you come up with solutions is to figure out what you like about yourself. What are some things that you like about yourself? What are some non-negotiables? What do you do that makes you feel good, that you feel confident in? Focus on that. Engage in that. Work on that. Remove everything that's not in alignment on your list and on your notes and in the comment section. Comparing yourself to other people is not going to change your situation, and it's not going to help you. It doesn't do anything for you. It's taken away from you. Because the more you focus on people and places and things, the more you feel stuck, the more you feel stagnant, the more you end up having a cold heart and you become bitter and envious. And that's how people hurt people. That's how people kill people. It's degrading. And as you grow older in life, you're only going to get older in life. Time is only going to go by. There's no reason for you to compare yourself. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, and this video resonates with you, like I said, feel free to engage. Don't be shy. You have to be vulnerable when it comes to healing and recovering and giving yourself grace. You shouldn't be embarrassed or ashamed. Everybody goes through things. People have insecurities. There's things that everybody can work on. And regardless of your circumstances, because once again, you're the only person who knows what you go through, you don't have to over-explain here. So if you went through trauma and you know other people who haven't gone through trauma, if they don't get it, they don't get it. If you grew up privileged, nobody's upset that you're privileged. Nobody's upset that you have finances and you have access to certain things. That's what you're supposed to do. If your parents had the finances, they're supposed to pour into you. They're supposed to take it to you. Legally, they signed a document, your birth certificate. So by law, yes, for the first 18 years of life, you're supposed to have people that love and pour into you, but everybody doesn't. So it's like, give people grace, because like, you don't know what people go through. And don't assume things about people. Get to know people before you judge them. Don't be so quick to judge people. Don't be so quick to assume things about certain people. Don't be so quick to project and deflect. Not just that, when you stop comparing yourself, you'll know what's projection. You know what's deflection. The people that try to make me feel bad or feel like I need to compare themselves, they were projecting. I don't want the things that you have. If you have what you have and you're not happy, why would I want it? Rather, it's a man, a job, car, money. Like, you're not happy. Why would I want what you have? You're not even happy. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? If you're privileged, be privileged. Like I said, nobody has to hate on anybody. And it's like, if you were really privileged and you were really abundant and you were really wealthy, as you say, you're not going to be mad at people who had got to where you had without, with having to do the work. Like I said, there's so many people that I've met that were like wealthy, materialistically, had cars and status, but were envious of people because they didn't have character. They've never had to solve problems because they've always had everything handed to them. You don't have to be like that. If you're privileged, be privileged. Like, nobody's upset that you grew up with a 2-parent household. Nobody's upset that you come from a background that's loving. Nobody's upset that you have, like I said, support. That's the ideal. That's the goal, like, is love and abundance. But you don't have to be envious of people or compare yourself to people if you figure out who you are and what it is that you need to work on. So thank you guys for watching this video all the way to the end. Thank you for liking, commenting, engaging. I love you guys. You're appreciated. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. I will be going live answering you guys' questions, comments, concerns about this topic if I didn't answer them already, as well as DM me on Instagram if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and it's more confidential. If not, book your service in your session. But this is a judge-free platform. This is for the adults and mature audience only. Okay? Love you. Bye.